Hey everybody, what's going on? Hellmite here, bringing you another video from Grab the Lantern today. Today I wanted to talk about assassins, their burst windows, and more specifically, Evelynn. A lot of people on the boards right now are not very happy with the direction Riot has taken with assassins in general. Most of the time they're comparing assassins having delays built into their burst kit alongside AD carries, which isn't entirely an accurate simulation given that AD carries are mostly about sustained damage. They don't really have the tools to burst. If you get a couple lucky crits in a row, you're absolutely right, they can annihilate you, but that's not a guaranteed thing, and it requires building very heavy crit, which is sort of a disadvantage for AD carries as they need other stats other than just crit and attack speed. Lifesteal and usually survivability items are usually a good thing, but on the current Worlds meta, the biggest issue is Ardent Sensors good. Anyways, I'm getting sidetracked here, but the point being is that assassins need some kind of window built into their kit to burst. This is a thing because the biggest issue with assassins prior to the assassin rework is everything they did had no counterplay. Essentially, the assassin would find you, they would push every single button they had on you, and you would die. There is nothing you could have done about it. LeBlanc in particular is a huge problem, or at least in her old kit she was a very big problem because of her QRW burst combination, where effectively all of it was unavoidable, and that was her burst combo on a low cooldown ultimate. So she could just hit every single button and kill you, and that's all targeted. There's no room for counterplaying LeBlanc. Fizz is another issue, where especially if he was fed enough, he would E at you using his untarget ability, then WQ, and do most of your health without even having to land the shark. Again, these are issues because they don't offer sufficient counterplay. If the counterplay is, don't be anywhere in the general vicinity as the assassin, Riot have kind of messed up, I would say, is the biggest problem. So, assassins need a delay. Basically, it's the only way to make them healthy because it indicates that the assassin is coming for you. They're trying to burst you. Make sure you have the skills to pay the bills here. If you're unable to dodge the assassin's skills, you probably should be dying. But you need to make sure that there is a window of opportunity. Zed, I think, is one of the very balanced assassin for this reason. I think he's actually one of the best designed because he accurately telegraphs his assassination pattern. He presses R, he disappears, there's the evil laughter, he zooms towards you with the shadows, and the player has enough time to basically mentally prepare themselves by saying, Zed's trying to burst me, or Zed is trying to burst my carry, what do I need to do in order to make sure he doesn't do this? Sometimes it's move unpredictably so he can't land the shuriken, which is most of his damage because he'll max that first. Sometimes it's make sure I shield somebody, make sure I flash away instantly, or use mobility to get away from him instantly. If I'm a tank, maybe it's I'm going to put my crowd control behind my carry so that way I can instantly CC Zed when he shows up. But the Zed also has the opportunity to counterplay this. He doesn't have to immediately go for his burst combo. He can use the W off to the side. He can try porting back to his shadow and then using different, something different. Basically, there are ways for Zed to counterplay the opponent and the opponent to counterplay Zed when he goes in for his burst combo. And this is a good thing. This is what assassins need to have because it feels fair to play against as opposed to old LeBlanc or old Talon, who if they were fed enough would hit every button on their keyboard and just instantly kill you. So let's bring this all around and talk about Evelynn. A lot of people are not happy with the rework because it feels as though Evelynn has too much counterplay. She has a long time to wait on her W before the charm is even prepared. She then has to land a skill shot, which is blocked by minions. Her only targeted ability is very short range, so she doesn't have a way to get on top of the target afterwards if she doesn't get the charm. She has a lot of very difficult to use parts of her kit in order to make a successful assassination. I do think part of this is Riot's problem. I don't think that Evelynn is in as good of shape as she could be. It does feel like 2.5 seconds is a long time to wait for a mark to finally pop, especially when in the heat of a team fight, I may not have 2.5 seconds. If I'm waiting that long to kill the carry, they may have already done their job. If the Syndra has already stunned my AD carry and bursted them with their ultimate, I can kill her, sure, but it may not matter at that point, especially if our carry was something like a Cog Mob and to protect the AD carry comp. So I do think that's an issue, but more importantly than that, I think that the reward for waiting around for 2.5 seconds isn't high enough. I would be fine with the delay if Evelynn had a reliable way to trigger the charm. Currently, as it stands, she doesn't do that because the detection range on her stealth is very large, so it's difficult for her to even get into Q range. Q is not exactly the fastest skill shot. It's still fairly quick, and I do think that Riot were intending so that it wasn't a guaranteed stun or a guaranteed charm, but they may have overshot on how slowly it moves. And the E in particular, it doesn't feel like a gap closer. An assassin needs some way to get into the fight, and I don't feel like Evelynn has that because of a couple of the reasons I listed above, specifically the detection range on her stealth. Now, that being said, I think Evelynn has a different play pattern than most assassins. She doesn't necessarily want to be the person 100 to 0ing the AD carry immediately like a Zed, who, as soon as a fight starts, Zed is looking for carries. Evelynn is more of a lurk and pounce style champion. If she's charmed somebody or placed her curse on somebody, they can't necessarily be DPSing because they have an understanding that the Evelynn is coming for them. If they don't have vision, they have to be scared about that. And it's really on the Eve to be finding creative flanks to make them worried. If the carry can see Evelynn, 100% she's not going to be able to do anything. But I do think that if she finds a good flank, is able to get the charm from an unexpected location, the carry may have to pull back, may not be able to do as much damage in the fight as they would have otherwise. The other thing is Eve is very good at going in and out of fights. She is able to regenerate a large portion of her health once she re-enters stealth. So she's able to go in, do a lot of damage, ult out or flash out or something, wait a few seconds, re-stealth, and then go back looking for priority targets. So she does have some advantages, but I think that in general, Riot have overshot on the champion and how much counterplay she offers her opponent. I would love to see E have a longer range to let Evelynn actually have a way to get into fights. Potentially, I would love to see the Q, especially the first spike, have slightly more movement speed, or to have her additional Q cast prioritize targets that she's W'd or hit with the first Q. I think the biggest issue with that, the ability right now, is it doesn't really work in the way you'd expect it to. And I think the detection range can stay if she receives one of the aforementioned buffs. I don't think the W charm, I guess, rate of progress needs to be changed. I think 2.5 seconds is fine to wait, nor do I necessarily think that the Q movement speed bonus needs to be done. But definitely something needs to be done, as for an assassin, she doesn't have very efficient ways of doing her job, and that's the biggest strike against the Evelynn rework that I can say. Go ahead and let me know your comments on this in the comment section below. I would love to hear your guys' thoughts on Evelynn, assassin burst patterns, or in general, those kind of topics, as I have obviously a lot of opinions. I would love to hear yours. If you enjoyed the video, go ahead and leave a like. And if you really enjoyed the video, consider subscribing. I upload a video every Monday, Friday, and on patch days as well. And if you're hungry for more Grab the Lantern content, you can go ahead and check out my blog, grabthelantern.tumblr.com. I will have a link down in the description, and you can check it out. I write an article just about every single day for your viewing pleasure. Once again, thank you guys so very much for watching. I do appreciate it, and I'll talk to you all later.